Magnus Carlsen, the greatest chess player of all time, has shown that he's not only the best at blitz, rapid, but also classical chess. And not only is he the best at classical chess in the world, he's also the best at Fischer random chess. And as we can see in this video, this is the semifinals of the freestyle chess event in Vaikanze. And Magnus Carlsen is playing Janintov Sindarov, who I do believe beat Hikaru. So e4 is played, and this is Fischer 960, so of course the pieces are randomized. And how, you guys might be asking, how do we castle here? Basically, all Jandarov or Magnus has to do is, Magnus just has to move up his knights, play e6, let's say, move out his bishop, and then he just like switches the king and the rook, and automatically his king will go to g8 and rook will go to f8. He opens with e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, the Petrov defense, a4. So the idea of a4 is very, very interesting. It basically makes like zero sense, because if you like think about it, they have 90 minutes per player. Sindarov spent 12 minutes on this move. Like, it doesn't accomplish anything. But of course, I completely understand the point of a4. It is just to expand on the queen side, make these small nuances in the position, and possible also play b3 and hit the pawn, right? Because like you can't play b3 in the first place, because then that's like, it's not as good. So c6, now b4, right? I'm just saying, trying to expand, but now the queen and the rook, they both team up. And actually, I'm not really sure, in Fischer 960, in the opening, is it a good idea to trade two pieces for the rook? It's actually two pieces for a rook and a pawn. It might actually not be so bad, but queen to c7 is played, and now queen to b3 by Sindarov. This is given dubious by the computer, because I'm pretty sure c4 and like c5 and b5 is what the computer wanted, but instead queen to b3 is played, and now knight to g6 is given a big mistake. And I'm not sure if you guys caught that. Magnus spent right here 7 minutes on a pawn push, like more than 20 minutes on moving his queen one step, and then another 13 minutes. So he is down to less than half of his time, with simply just in the first 5 moves of the opening, right? And rook to b1, and now this kind of like gives most of the advantage up. And I think knight to g6 is such a bad move, because it would actually have been better for Magnus to have gotten his king castled quicker, right? Like bishop to d6, bishop to e7, and just castling his king long or short, it doesn't really matter. But with the move knight to g6, he's kind of stalling, and here I do believe d4, or sorry, no, queen takes f7 would have been winning. If I just show it real quick, yep, the board turns a little bit weird. I will fix that real quick. But after the move queen takes f7, it is simply just the loss of opponent. And I do believe there was some idea with rook b6 from Magnus potentially to trapping the queen, but this simply does not work. There's bishop to c4 and probably even knight to g5, so this just doesn't really work. Let me a second, I'll just change it. There, so now it's normal, and I just checked out with the engine. If you take the pawn, c5 is apparently the best move. I can't really explain this to you, but c5 is the best move. Instead, rook to b1 is played, which does give Magnus some advantage because of this central break with d5. d5 is played. Excuse me, sorry, no. d5 is the central break, and it is very good, but it's not the best by the engine. Knight to g3 is now played here, and now, again, Magnus castles. It's kind of funny if you look at it. The castling is just moving like a square, but this is what the computer generated this round for the players. So bishop to d3, takes, knight to d4, knight to f4, and just so that you guys understand how serious this round is, this is the semifinals of a $12 million tourney. I mean, the tournament doesn't have $12 million, but the combined of, I believe, 5 tournaments is $12 million, and this is the semifinals, and like the winner of this will get like a portion of that money. So it's just insane. Like this round really matters. Knight takes f6 is played, pawn takes f6, and here you guys can see Magnus is slowly creeping back up the clock. He played that move in about 7 seconds. Now he plays this move in what? That's 2 seconds, right? Like he's really getting back some of his time. King to b8 again, very fast. G3, knight to D5. He's playing instantly, and Sindarov castles short. So here, knight takes B4 is played, and I love this move so much. Basically, here's the idea, right? It's like, if I take this pawn, I'm going to be under pressure for the rest of the game. And now Magnus is basically forcing Sindarov to show him that pressure, right? And Sindarov tries his best, D4, C5. Not sure what the lag was there. And now slowly but surely, Magnus has not... Okay, well, here... I mean, he could have taken the pawn, really. But why he didn't, I assume it's because the bishop takes bishop takes, what is that, E5. Rook takes, knight takes, queen takes, and then queen takes F7 would have been very, very, very strong. Or maybe even C3, I'm not really sure. Maybe attacking the knight. Right, B6, rook to D1, and now queen to C6. Queen to C6 is an excellent, excellent, excellent move. He is putting pressure on the knight, and if the knight moves, it's checkmate in one. So, yeah, you have to defend the knight. Pawn takes F6, defends the knight. Yeah, no, well, it actually, like, didn't defend the knight. So, here, basically, what happened was that if you would have taken the knight, there's this very, 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 very nice move. Bishop to E5 check. And you can basically, like, resign after this, I'm pretty sure. I'll just show it on the board. Queen takes F3, bishop to E5 check, or maybe even rook takes D8 is fine first. And now here, king to B7 has to be played, or, I mean, if you block, you just lose, of course. Very simple there. So instead, king to B7, and now, like, queen takes F7, and you just get, sorry, excuse me, that is not the right move. In this position, you can just take, excuse me about that. Yep, so, okay, now let me get the actual board back. So here Magnus plays the best move, bishop to b7. Sindarov plays bishop to g4, simply defending his knight. And here Magnus is putting the pressure on Javhoker Sindarov. He plays c4. And slowly but surely, he gets booted. His knight gets supported. Rook takes d8, rook takes d8, queen to b5 check, king to b7. The king is perfectly safe. And Magnus starts doing magnesium things. Not like, the magnesium is like, I'm pretty sure it's like something on the periodic table or something. Bishop to c3, not that one. Magnus ways. Knight takes c2, rook to c1, knight to e3. And I mean, this is just like a finisher, really, because if you take, then you lose the rook. And if you don't, of course, then your bishop's hanging, and then followed by your knight. Of course, takes, king to g2, and now bishop takes c1 is played. And here, there is like a small chance, I guess, that you could try bishop takes a5, pawn takes a5, queen takes a5. Uh-oh, you lost the rook. Then I would think white might even be winning, but king to h3 is played, rook to d3. And here, after a few moves, Sindarov resigns the game to the reigning I believe, or sorry, no, Magnus Carlsen is not the Fischer world champion. He used to be. It might be Wesley So actually, if it's been that long. But he loses to Magnus, who is the GOAT of all of chess, and believe this is the semifinals. This is the first game. They do have a second game. I'm not sure. I might be making a recap about that. Do tune in for that video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe. Bye. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And like.